The night sky is a fascinating thing. Beneath a canopy of thousands of visible stars, it's hard to look to the sky and imagine that we're the only world in the universe capable of housing life. And of all the games to tackle the question, are we alone in the universe, it didn't feel particularly relevant to Red Dead Redemption 2. However, in today's revisited video, we are going to be exploring a mystery within Red Dead Redemption 2 that does, in a way, sort of address this. Or at the very least, the concept of flying saucers, if not aliens. I realise I've made several videos on the topic, on little odd bits within it, however I've never actually sat down and comprehensively pieced together a piece of content. Hopefully this video will be that. So be sure to chill out, sit back, grab yourself a coffee maybe, as we revisit the UFOs in Red Dead Redemption 2. While exploring the mountains near Coulter, you can come across a random encounter that the game really wants you to find, considering how high the chances are that you will find it if you visit one of the locations where it can spawn. The encounter in question is a frozen campsite, complete with a frozen disemboweled horse and two frozen people clutching a piece of paper. An ominous sight as the pair, one male, one female, appear to have frozen to death huddled together, holding this piece of paper as if this is the most important thing that they own. Meanwhile, their horse appears to have suffered a gruesome death. So what's on the piece of paper? Firstly, upon pulling the piece of paper out of the woman's death grip, ominous music plays. On it, we can see a map of some sort, known as the panoramic map. It shows 5 lines from a central point, leading outwards to 5 other locations on a starlit night. Its relevance is yet to be known, and I'm not entirely sure it's been fully realised ever. In the grand scheme of things anyway. It's not a treasure map, it doesn't lead you to anything of interest in these locations, it simply just is. Which I suppose is a type of Easter egg that Rockstar has mastered in their own right, I won't lie, but I feel like it does have some relevance to the rest of the video. So, we will return to the panoramic map later. Now let's get into some of the more, I want to say, straightforward parts of the video. Upon our travels across the Heartlands, we may come across a shack known as HANI'S Bethel just north of Emerald Ranch. Immediately from the name, with Bethel meaning a hallowed place, you know that something is going to be untoward, or at least a little bit strange, here. That being said, the abandoned shack almost looks picturesque. What with being out the way in the little pond, you can find a skull outside that certainly justifies questions, but once you head inside it's impossible to ignore that something is very wrong about this place. Inside we will see many dead bodies in their skeletal state. They've been here for a while. All of the corpses in the building appear to have matching footwear, and there are also no signs that these people's deaths were violent, they just appear to have died in their beds. Poison, perhaps, maybe voluntarily taken. A mysterious sermon on the head desk may give us a better idea as to what is going on here. It reads as follows. At the 2nd hour under the half moon, by the great love and grace of our Saviour, Kukawaba, voyager of time and galaxies, we cast off our corporal shells, so his vessel can take our spirits to the promised realm, to live in peace and power until the 2000th year, when we will return for the new chosen and worship once again at the peak of Mount Shann. In his love we rejoice always. That certainly clears things up, I suppose. It appears as if these people killed themselves in order for their spirits to be freed onto an alien spacecraft and taken away to paradise. This is possibly a reference to the Heaven's Gate cult, which participated in a mass suicide in the year 1997. They believed that in doing so they'd be transported spiritually to a spacecraft following a comet passing by Earth. The cultists in this scenario all wore identical shoes. The part where HANI'S BETHEL gets proper interesting, however, is if you return at night. It appears as if we have an admirer, an unidentified flying object hovering over the building, almost scanning it with a green beam. Very distinctly a flying saucer class spaceship of some variety. It will hover over the house, moving corner to corner until you leave. But the moment you do, even if only to get a better look, the UFO will immediately begin to take off back to space, where it evidently came from, because it's not of this world. Whoever these people, or aliens, are, they're obviously not too fond of mixing with people. Not that I blame them. It would appear as if the cultists' belief in a spacecraft was correct. However, how much of the rest of their theory is, I'm a bit skeptical. I doubt they managed to survive their own deaths. Anyway, they mentioned that they'd return and celebrate at the summit of Mount Shann. So Mount Shann must be a ritualistic location relevant to their beliefs. Therefore, maybe there's something there for us to find. This sacred Mount Shann can be located north of the town of Strawberry. However, before we make the trek up the mountain to discover its significance in the surrounding area, in 4 separate locations, you can find various paintings depicting humans worshipping humanoid figures, among other things. These can be found painted on various rocks and boulders, and they don't always keep the same colours and style, which makes me think that more than one group of people are aware of these alien figures. One even shows humans worshipping what I believe to be a UFO. There are plenty of depictions of the moon. Not that moon. So maybe the working theory was these creatures came from the moon, but I don't think it's necessarily what's important. It's clear that there has been extraterrestrial activity in this area for a long time. Now all that's left is to head to the top of Mount Shann and see what's significant about this place. Firstly, at the top we appear to have some strange sundial made of rocks. There's nothing really to this. As far as I can tell, it is just a sundial. But it shows that there was once a time where people were frequently up here. Also, on one of the faces of the mountain near the top, you can find this marking. It shows a line leading to a central point and then 5 lines leading out at different angles. And in the top left there appears to be a compass style doodle that says southwest. Anyway, if you turn around from this spot and look at the view with the panoramic map open, you will realise that you are in the spot depicted on the map. And loosely speaking, the locations highlighted on the panoramic map are the settlements: Valentine, Rhodes, Saint Denis, Blackwater and Strawberry. It may be a bit easier to see where I'm coming from at night with this. You can see the illuminated spots where you can see civilization in the distance. The map itself has no hint as to its meaning, it just shows locations as seen from the summit of Mount Shann. There's obviously more to this place, so if we climb to the absolute summit of Mount Shann, the highest point, the true peak as it were, we will be greeted by yet another UFO. Now, I've seen it reported in various places that you need 100% completion to see this UFO, which would explain how I managed to trigger it at 7%. Anyway, it just hovers here, bobbing up and down, watching, and that's kind of it. Interestingly, from the position where you can see the view depicted on the panoramic map, it's facing southwest-ish, just, which may be what the compass marking is referring to, as the view on the map is facing out eastward. So maybe the panoramic map is meant to guide you to this UFO. I'll be the first to admit that connection does feel weak, but there is no other explanation for the purpose of the panoramic map. Anyway, the UFO seen here appears to be quite similar to the one that we can find hovering over HANI'S Bethel. Now, there are no other UFO sightings to be found in the game as far as I'm aware. I've seen a photoshopped image of a UFO that doesn't even match this design floating over a plateau in the Heartlands, and also shots of a UFO in the day somewhere, which would probably just be the Mount Shann UFO, as it's known to glitch and stick around forever, only disappearing if you get far enough away. I would know this because I triggered the glitch, but at least this gave us a better view of the alien spacecraft. But if this encounter, if you can call it that, hasn't glitched, the UFO will loiter for a short bit and then disappear. Unfortunately, this is the type of thing where the questions are answered by more questions. Who are these aliens? Why do they have cults worshipping them like gods? And it's not just exclusive to Red Dead Redemption 2, in fact Rockstar's very fond of its alien Easter eggs, and there are plenty of suicide cults in Rockstar games. Anyway, it's unclear what these aliens appear to be doing, but thanks to the mysterious sermon in HANI'S Bethel, we know they're voyagers of time and galaxies. So maybe these aliens don't just travel through space, but time itself, which we know is possible courtesy of Francis Sinclair showing up as an adult, and then later showing up as a newborn. Plenty suggests he travels through time and has a connection to the Epsilon program from Grand Theft Auto 5, who believe that aliens exist and are present on Earth. Well, UFOs also appear in Grand Theft Auto 5, so maybe there's some form of overlap in a very vague sense, but above all else, this is simply an Easter egg. We'll probably never get the answers we seek with regards to these UFOs, because all we find ourselves with are more questions. What are they doing here? How did they come into contact with people? Why are they revered as gods by cults? And how much of the mysterious sermon in HANI'S Bethel speaks true? We'll never know, but aliens are out there in Red Dead Redemption 2. Which brings us to the end of today's video. I'm not too clued up on the Grand Theft Auto side of this, and I don't know if there is a grander connection, so if there is, would you like me to do a follow-up video? Let me know down in the comments, of course. Thank you all for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to go ahead, leave a like, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and all that wonderful stuff, that would be super fantastic. And remember to subscribe to Decades, our brand new history channel, coming on the 19th of July with a trailer arriving on the 12th. And of course, with any luck, I'll be seeing you all very soon with another video at some point, but until next time, take care and goodbye.